Welcome back, gang. Episode 27 of Find Music. Ooh, easy to find. Hey, I really enjoyed that last episode 26, where Fred told us about Joe Bonamassa having that British blues rock sound, which is one of my favorite sounds. And that inspired me to share with you an album that I bet a lot of you haven't heard of. Yeah, and you'll be very surprised if you haven't, because it stars two very famous rock and rollers, the drummer from the Small Faces, who later joined The Who after the death of Keith Moon. I'm talking about Kenny Jones. And the lead singer, even more famous maybe, he was the lead singer of Free and Bad Company. We're talking about Paul Rodgers. Now, you probably have heard of The Firm. That was the band where Paul Rodgers rescued Jimmy Page from deep depression and Led Zeppelin. And, you know, that lasted a couple albums. It got some real airplay and video. It was during the MTV video thing when everybody was digging MTV videos still. But that was only two albums, and then Jimmy was ready to move on, right? So Paul was left bereft. He's like, okay, what do I do now? So he found someone new to team up with, Kenny Jones, which is, you know, one of the classic drummers of rock and roll, the Small Faces and the Faces, two just phenomenally outstanding bands in terms of live performance. Kenny Jones is a drummer. So they teamed up. What year was that? I better bring up my attaché here. I don't want to get the year wrong. Share screen. I'm thinking they don't tell you. Oh, great. This is a remaster, a 2002 remaster, but I believe the album came out 91. It might have been 89, 91, something like it, somewhere around there, late 80s, early 90s. That was kind of a dead time for rock and roll. When grunge didn't come back, didn't come out of the woods yet. And the 80s were kind of ruled by the synthesizer and new wave and dance music. So these couple of dinosaurs, Paul Rodgers and Kenny Jones, they teamed up and made a really a very classic rock album. And Paul wrote some of the songs, and he went to some other people, as you can see, for other songs. Bryan Adams, Phil Collen, he was in that band, I think it was called Def Leppard, right? Which is a play on Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard. And Chris Rea, and some other people I don't know so well, but that last name Champlin, oh, that sounds kind of familiar. Wasn't he the guy that wrote the Chicago? Oh, I don't know. Anyhow, every song on this album is a good song, all right? I'm not going to say that this is an album that's going to revolutionize anything, but it's a good, solid album. If you love Paul Rodgers' vocals, you're going to love this song. I mean, Paul Rodgers fans, the ones that I know, they tend to be very devout. He's one of the greatest vocalists of all time. And anything he touches turns to gold. This one didn't quite make it to gold, which is a shame because they're really well done. If I had to point something out, it looks like I haven't got any fours on here. That's my condemnation right there, that this is not the greatest album of all time, but it's a good album. God, there's upbeat songs and also ballads. Like the ballads are probably possibly the best known. Miss You in a Heartbeat, which I believe was done by Def Leppard. So this is a remake, a better remake than Def Leppard's. And then there's a song called Best of My Love. And I'm not talking the Eagles here. This is not that song. But it's a very pleasant ballad. And of course, I'm forgetting the last song, Missing You Bad Girl. That might have been the one they tried to make into a single. And it didn't happen, you know, but it's a lovely song. Paul wrote it. Lovely song. That's all I can say. And then the other side of the coin is the rockers. For a Little Ride, Stone Cold is one of those bluesy ones, slow burning rocker. Laying Down the Law, that's where they got their name from. That might have been an attempted single too, but it didn't catch on. It was just the wrong time musically. Nature of the Beast, that rocks. Stone is another bluesy rocker. Great song. Some people tell me it's their favorite song on the album. Anything for You is like a mid-tempo ballad. Good song, good solid song. Tough Love is, for me, the one wrong note on this album. It's a decent song, but it doesn't have enough blues to it. You know, it's just needed more blues, that song. I'm sorry, Paul, but that's my honest review. So what do I say to sum this up? If you like, oh man, there's a lot of bands I could name. If you like Free, Bad Company, Led Zeppelin, this album does have the range that Zeppelin has. You know, it's got the light stuff, the hard stuff, the in-between stuff. And of course, if you like the Faces, but the Faces are a superior band. This is just serviceable. And that's why it was only a one shot. They only made this one album and everybody moved on to another phase of their lives. But it's definitely a worthwhile listen. If you dig Paul Rodgers, I think you're going to be happy with this album if you haven't heard of it already. All right, and that sums up episode 27. Fine music.